Join me for 2 very different days of street photography in Japan. On day 1, I'm taking you to Nakano and Koenji, an area in the west of Tokyo, as recommended by John Manning. And stay till day 2 for some photography in the Japanese countryside, plus some ramblings about the Fujifilm X-T2. Hello, we are starting the day here in Nakano. I've actually not visited here yet. There's a camera shop I want to check out at some point, although I'm definitely not buying anything. I just want to go check out Fuji camera. But it's like 11:20. I didn't get started as early as I anticipated, but Nakano seems cool. I'm just in the area around Nakano Broadway, and there's a couple of other little areas I want to explore a little bit further west out of Tokyo. But at the moment the light is hitting, dumplings are being made. It should be interesting. We'll see what we can find. Arigatou gozaimasu. Oh, arigatou gozaimasu. I think you can tell that I haven't really slept. Well, I didn't really sleep last night because I'm already on my second coffee. It is only an hour since I got here. Been wandering around, taking a few photos I kind of liked, and actually realising more and more how much I like shooting on the X-T2, even with just this TTArtisan lens. It's really fantastic. I am fighting the urge to go in Fuji camera and buy a first party Fuji 23mm, but this 23mm is good. I love the switching of manual focus and autofocus on Fuji cameras. I also really like having dials to fidget with, because if I'm framing up a shot and I'm gonna burst mode some people walking past, I like having something to pretend that I'm doing when I'm actually taking photos. I don't do that for every shot, but there are some situations where that's quite handy. Especially with having the waist level viewfinder, waist level LCD behind the camera instead of off to the side. I like that. But yeah, Nakano Broadway in this whole area is very, very cool. It's super retro. I'm a bit gutted that I haven't come here till now. I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit longer. The sun's gonna get to its highest point pretty soon, and then I might move on depending on how the light's looking. But so far, it's a really nice place to explore. Who knew Japan was so nice for photography? We're right next to Fuji camera, but also the light is hitting in several directions. So I might actually take some photos with my camera before I then go in and look at more cameras. For once, let's actually use it instead of buying something else. It was now time for me to take the train to Koenji, which is just one stop away on the metro. I arrived in Koenji just a few minutes ago, hung out at the station for a bit, taking photos of some pigeons and a dog, as you do. It's much a similar vibe to Nakano. There is also kind of a Broadway street, the undercover market and stuff, but there's not really much light getting in there. So I'm just exploring at the moment, finding some residential areas. We've got a temple next door. Chasing the light, pretty much.
Before we move on, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you don't have a website for your photography, you are missing out. It's your unique home on the internet for your fans to enjoy and support your work. Squarespace removes all of the headaches. You can even choose to create a fully custom website with Blueprint AI, tailored to your style and personality. You can update your fans easily via an email newsletter using Squarespace's email campaign tools. There you can write, publish, and view your analytics right in your Squarespace dashboard. Try Squarespace for free at squarespace.com. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/GeorgeHolden to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
As you might be able to tell, I'm no longer in Tokyo. I am now here with my rusty anchor, which I believe is a great name for a pub. And we are now actually a little bit further away from Tokyo in what I guess you could call the Japanese countryside. It's only about 2 hours from Tokyo, down like near the Izu Peninsula, like Shizuoka area. And we're going to be here for a while. And today is the first full day after arriving yesterday. I've just been out again with the X-T2 and the TTArtisan 23mm, just doing some photography of local families fishing, hanging about by the fishing port. It's been fun. I like it here. I'm excited to shoot around here a bit more and also like explore this like general area. So we're going to get into a tiny bit more photography with the Fuji here and see what we get for the rest of the day. Just a minute ago from the other side I was shooting this little table and chair scene and it wasn't really working, and just coming up to the other side, just play a direction of light. Sometimes when it's not including human subjects, I do forget to play with the direction of light. But here that just makes such a big difference. We also have a bit more framing happening, like frame within a frame. And then also the light is just creating so much more shape to the chairs. And again, no human subjects. How interesting can it be? But I like what we have going on here. I think it's cool. You know, I've actually been a bit surprised by my shooting experience in Japan. In Osaka, in Tokyo, exploring a bit like outside of Osaka to do that one day of fishing stuff. And then now coming here to somewhere not at all like Osaka or Tokyo, I'm starting to actually realise how cities, as amazing as they can be, I think cities really require you to stay for a long period of time. Like, I feel like Manchester, living there for 3 years, I got much more out of Manchester the longer I was there. And likewise with visiting London, I've never got that much out of London because I just haven't been hitting the same streets all the time. Whereas here, I've found shooting the same streets to be a bit more difficult because you are only here for a short period of time and you're also doing sightseeing stuff and whatever else you need to do. Whereas these little more like excursions to interesting places you wouldn't visit otherwise for like shorter bursts of photography, I'm currently finding like more rewarding. And not just going to like the touristy spots, but to just spots like this. Like, it's making me also feel a bit more inspired when back in the UK to go and visit areas I wouldn't usually go to shoot. We all want to shoot, you know, the city centres and stuff like that, or beautiful landscapes that, you know, are like picture perfect. But I think just wanting to go and explore the quieter spots where people are doing things, whether it's work, whether it's like leisure, whatever it might be, I think you just find more interesting stuff. And like, whether it's colors, whether it's activity, just it sort of comes to life a bit more. Just even here, just 2 photos that I got before, I haven't looked back at them properly yet, but as soon as I took them, I was like, cool, that is my little photo outing for today has been worth it for like those 2 photos. And they might not be keepers long term, but at the same time, you know, it's all about the process and finding those little gems in what is quite a messy practice. I've got to say, here, it looks like a mess. There's just like office chairs, rusty fans, the rusty anchor, just stuff everywhere. I love it. I love it. Fishing net just like piled together, different color fishing nets. Man, this is my idea of a good time. Like, there's just so much happening, whether it's with rust against blue or just rich greens. The houses are like something out of a Studio Ghibli movie. Can't get better than this. So I think I'm going to put something in the title of this video about Fujifilm cameras. I briefly mentioned about looking at some stuff in Fuji camera back in Nakano a few days ago. And that kind of stemmed from using the X-T2 again, because I used this a few months ago when we were in Porto and then a little bit in France. And I really enjoyed using it those couple of times. And usually, in case you haven't noticed on this channel, I pick up a camera, like a used older generation camera. I use it for a month or two, a few months sometimes, up to 6 months. And then I get bored of it, I sell it, I move on. And I keep my Sony as my main photo and video camera for general stuff. And I pick up a camera to try and play around with here and there. And I always kind of put off Fuji stuff because I found a lot of the newer stuff to be a bit overpriced and not great all around, like for video and stuff like that. And I've been lucky to have hands-on with lots of different Fuji cameras, including like Lisa's X-T4 and X-H2, that I do think are both very good cameras. But then it was only when I picked up the X-T2 as like just a photography camera that I was really surprised. I was ready to be like, okay, it's okay, but that's it. And now I can't really find myself getting rid of it or getting rid of a Fuji camera in general, because the photography experience, film simulations, take them for what they are. I don't use them in JPEGs, but for in-camera preview, whether it's the LCD or even this quite low-res display, the images just look great in camera. And it's nice for that to be a thing. I'm so used to shooting on Sony cameras where my EVF just looks washed out, quite low saturation. You can do what you want with the picture profiles and try and get the best things out of them, but it just never really hits. Whereas on this, that does make the enjoyment of the process of photography much better. And that's not really to be ignored. And then also when it comes to the manual focus, having the zone focus kind of distance indicators inside the LCD display also makes that process a lot more fun. So when you want to treat it more like an analog camera, you can just set your focus distance and shoot zone focus, or you can swap back to like a more digital experience. And I'm just really, really enjoying that. I love it. And yeah, it feels a bit like cheating sometimes. It feels almost like no one really talks about that feature in Fuji cameras, but I think it's actually one of the most slept on features. It makes the whole process a lot more fun, whether you're shooting candid stuff, landscape stuff, posed stuff with people. I just find it very flexible. And every time I've gone out and shot with this camera, I've had a great time. And I think that's one of the most important things. I could have got the X-T1, I could have splurged and got the X-T3, but for what, really? I think this feels like the right generation of Fuji, and personally I think I'm an X-T person more than an X-Pro person. Like the OVF in Fuji, I had the X-Pro one, didn't love it, but this EVF and this whole setup, I do kind of love. So yeah, in my next video, I'm going to be here again. Maybe some fishing stuff. Hopefully we have nice light on the day that I'm shooting. I think I'm going to be out with this camera, yes, and a lens, I think. I don't know what lens. It could be this TTArtisan, it could be something else, but it's going to be a boring day of street photography in a boring place. But you're in Japan, so how boring can it really be? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.